Hello there, viewers, and welcome to the channel. Life is unpredictable. There are no second thoughts about it. You never know who will touch your heart and soul. Sometimes we receive love and care from the most unexpected sources. Can you ever imagine wild animals can have a humane side too? And they can resist their natural urge to prey on humans. We know it's hard to believe, but there have been instances where the behaviors of wild animals shock the world, validating the age-old saying that love has no boundaries and rules. The story of Damien, Tenzi, and two western lowland gorillas will surely reaffirm your trust in love. So, let's get started. A UK-based conservationist, Damienspinall, was the founder of the Aspinall Foundation in Kent, England. It was a rehabilitation center that Damien owned and operated along with his wife. The couple was responsible for the caretaking and well-being of gorillas that have remained in captivity and rescued. With the help of a team of dedicated employees, the couple cared for the animals until they were ready to return to their natural habitats. Part of the troop kept in the facility were two young western lowland gorillas. For your information, the western lowland gorilla is among the two most critically endangered subspecies of the western gorilla species and the smallest of all four gorilla species. Their natural habitats are found in the mountain, lowland swampland, and primary and secondary forest in Central Africa, the Central African Republic, Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. Damienspinall has a daughter named Tenzi. Her childhood was far from ordinary, as she lived with her parents who raised wild gorillas. So Tenzi got an opportunity to befriend two of the gorillas, which turned out to be a life-altering experience for the family. Tenzi's childhood was different from her friends. She spent most of her free time at the rehabilitation center playing with the two gorillas. Initially, she felt scared of the animals, and we can't blame the child. After all, despite being the smallest of all gorilla species, western lowland gorillas are still bigger than the rest. Every day, Tenzi accompanied her father to meet her friends, whom she named Jalta and Bims. Tenzi keenly observed how he trained the gorillas and prepared them for life in the jungle. She found her father's way of approaching gorillas rather peculiar. He wanted everyone around, including the employees and his daughter, to interact freely with the animals. Damien knew well that these were held captive for years, and it was unsafe to keep a young child in their company. But Damien believed love heals all wounds, even if an animal has been wronged. And there have been incidents where employees were hurt by the animals. Between the 1980s and 90s, around 5 employees were fatally injured by the gorillas because of miscommunication of commands. But nothing would change Damien's belief in the power of love and empathy. Moreover, Damienspinall had implemented such strategies that left no room for miscommunication. He was always present at the facility whenever one-on-one encounters and interactions occurred between the staff and gorillas. He especially monitored how Tenzi interacted with the gorillas. Damien was adamant about bridging the gap between humans and animals. He succeeded through his out-of-the-box ideas of making the animals comfortable at the facility and with people responsible for caring for them. One of his favorite ways of comforting an animal was touch. He helped Tenzi create a bond with her favorite gorillas by touching and caressing the animals. Damien said this gesture showed the person meant no harm. As Tenzi grew from a toddler to a 5-year-old, she learned many fine details on mingling with wild animals. Initially, she was a bit clumsy and found it hard to coordinate movements or communicate her feelings to those gorillas. Damien was pleasantly surprised to see that the gorillas were instead helping his little girl become friends with them. Perhaps they had realized Tenzi was an innocent, vulnerable child. The gorillas encouraged her to form a bond with them. Probably they also enjoyed her company, and why wouldn't they? Tenzi was a sweetheart. Time went by smoothly, and fortunately, there wasn't any resentful incident at the facility within those 2 years the gorillas had been living there. The time had come to release the animals into the wild. They had to be sent back to the jungles of Gabon. Before being released, Damien kept them on a river island for several months so that they learned how to survive on their own in an unfamiliar and unattended environment. It was a crucial drill to help the animals learn the art of self-defense after so many years. Finally, the day arrived that Tenzi had been dreading so much all these years, the day when her friends will be gone into the jungle, never to be seen again. Tenzi was very emotional that day, and so was her father. They nervously bid farewell to the gorillas and stood there until all of them disappeared into the jungle. The only thing that comforted Tenzi was the acknowledgement that the gorillas were back where they belonged. They were held captive for so many years and then rescued and kept at the rehabilitation facility for over 2 years. This was a long time. They deserved to live in their natural surroundings, have families, and move on. Days converted into months and years. Around 15 years had passed since that day, and Tenzi was now a beautiful young woman. She had lived a comfortable, luxurious life. But during all these years, she never forgot about her childhood friends, those 2 gorillas she had grown so fond of while they were at the foundation. Many other animals had arrived and left, but she didn't forget those 2 gorillas and longed to see them someday. So, on her 20th birthday, Damien asked her what she wanted him to gift her. He was surprised by what his young daughter asked for. She wanted to visit the Gabon rainforest and reunite with the gorillas. "What are you saying? Do you know it's almost impossible?" Damien asked in bewilderment. "Yes, of course, Dad. That's how I want to spend my 20th birthday." Damien had never refused any wish of his daughter, so he had to give in. And off the duo went to the same place they had visited together 15 years ago. Since that day, Damien had returned 80 more gorillas to the wild. Tenzi never followed him on any of those subsequent trips. She went to see off the 2 gorillas. They were part of a big family, all of which were released together. There was no way Damien could find out what happened to this family, as he couldn't monitor the animals once they were released. Still, he took Tenzi to the jungle with minimal hope and expectation to find those 2 gorillas. The father-daughter duo went into the rainforest and started searching for the gorillas Tenzi was eager to meet. Damien didn't know that Tenzi wasn't as hopeful either. It's been 15 years. There was no chance they would remember her now as she did. Would they recognize her after so long? If they did, what would be their reaction? Anyone in their place would have thought the same. Damien was skeptical they would find the same family of gorillas. What happened next was something none of them had expected or predicted. The duo had reached deep inside the jungle in search of the gorillas. Finally, they saw a place where many gorillas were hanging out. So, this was it, Tenzi said to herself, the moment she waited for, her reunion with her long-lost gorilla friends. She hoped Jalta and Bims remembered her, but her heart sank at the thought that this might not be the case. What if they didn't? They had hugely underestimated the animals, though. As soon as they reached the spot, 2 gorillas came forward looking at them as if trying to recognize them. And then suddenly, the gorilla started running towards them. Tenzi also ran, and they all embraced each other. Tenzi and Damien felt overwhelmed with emotion at the realization that they remembered Tenzi. But with happiness comes tragedy. That's what happened in Tenzi's life. A few months later, Damien learned about 2 gorillas missing from the Gabon Rainforest Reserve. It was managed by an organization that monitored the activities of animals using radio transmitters. They kept searching for the missing animals and discovered their dead bodies after a few days. Sadly, those bodies were of Tenzi's friends Jalta and Bims. Understandably, Tenzi was devastated. Authorities initially suspected a leopard attacked them because it's the only animal that can take down a fully grown gorilla. However, there weren't any bite marks or wounds on the bodies. Instead, there were beating marks, so they must have been battered by another furious gorilla. Nevertheless, this was an irreparable loss for Tenzi. She had no idea her reunion would be the last time she would see them. But Tenzi was at peace because she followed her heart. She had met her friends and shared lasting memories that'll stay with her forever. What do you have to say about this amazing story of a loving bond between a young girl and 2 gorillas? Please share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and press that bell icon to stay connected with us. Thanks for watching.